Hi, everybody. Happy holidays. Gosh, we're in the thick of it, aren't we? I don't even know what today is. I never know what the date or the day of the week is. I don't know why that is. December 13th? Anyway, wow. We're almost in the middle of the month. I'm going to say hi to everybody for a minute. Hi, my sweet friend Kelly. How are you? Give me a hi and a thumbs up. How's everybody doing? I am so excited for the holidays and everything that's going on. Hanukkah just started yesterday. I've got an article to finish today, an interview, a quick interview, and then I get to head off to a lovely, fun little shopping expedition with my family slash friend, my beautiful friend, and we're going to go have some fun. And I hope that all of you are able to really take some time right now. In fact, maybe I should just mention that. If you need to go back and listen to that live stream that I did on really making sure that you can kind of keep the holiday season magical and not full of stress, go back and listen to that again. If you're finding right now, if you were doing a good job and then you're finding now that 2 weeks in that you're feeling a little overwhelmed, you're starting to kind of look at the calendar, get a little frantic, let's just do it right here together. Let's just take a deep breath, hand on heart chakra. Let's do that, everybody. Take a pause. Let's take a deep breath. You want to close your eyes, go ahead. You don't, that's fine. I like to do that. Let's just take a couple of really deep breaths. Maybe one more. I remember when I was working at the spiritual center. Hi, John. Hi, Stephanie. We're just taking a couple deep breaths, hands on heart chakra, okay? Before we get into this topic, just a lot of people have been doing really good around the holiday season, and right about now, I've heard some people just saying, oh my God, that thing that we do all of a sudden. And we look at the calendar and we start counting down days. So we were just taking a deep breath. It's so important to be present as often as you can during the day. And I say that in that way because to say, from here on out, just focus on being in the present moment is not a reality, not for us human beings. And so it's really, really important. That's why I was starting us out right now, before we're talking about soft and strong. It's really important to notice. Just always notice your body and what's going on. And if you notice that you're feeling a little frantic, if you notice that you're looking at your calendar a lot, if you notice that your mind is ruminating, going, oh my God, I still need to do this or get that. Yeah, thumbs up on that. The simplest thing to do, you all know this, all of you here know this. You all have so much to offer. All of us know that we need to remember to take that pause, hand on heart, hand on, you can't see, solar plexus, if it feels like that kind of knotted feeling, and close eyes and deep breaths, deep breaths. And if while you're doing that, you can remind yourself to come back to this present moment in whatever way that feels helpful. Whether you say something like, I use some of these things, like sometimes I'll just say, present moment, present moment. Sometimes I'll close my eyes and breathe and just say something like, right here, right now, right here, right now. Just simple things, don't complicate it. Sometimes I'll just say something, or I'll even have a client who's on the other end of the phone close their eyes. We're on the phone together. It's a beautiful thing. My client in Calgary and I just did this, and we'll just breathe together. And hi Connie. And we'll sit together on the phone. You can do this with your friends or your family members before you get into some, further conversation around what you're going to do on Christmas Eve night or what you're doing for the fourth day of Hanukkah or whatever's going on. You can, even together on the phone, sit and breathe and just focus on breathe in, breathe out. let your shoulders drop. That's a big one for me. When I focus on breathing, but I also focus on when I exhale, letting my shoulders drop and relax, it's amazing how my entire nervous system starts to calm down. Want to try that together really quick? Okay, let's do that. I'm having fun with this, so maybe I'll just change the whole talk today. Okay, you guys, just for one moment, close your eyes. Come on, I can't see you, so what does it matter? Close your eyes. Hand on heart chakra. Breathe in. Breathe out. And picture your shoulders just dropping away from your ears, just melting. Breathe in. Breathe out. And as Louise Hay would say, my beautiful, beautiful teacher, all is well. All is well in my world. And all is well in your world. We may have a lot to do and a lot to focus on, but in this moment, right here, right now, all is well. Let's hold into this moment and hold that truth. Just offer that to all of you. And if there's somebody that you know needs to hear that from you today or needs to breathe with you today, will you take a moment to offer that gift, to call that person, do this on the phone? Before you go off with a friend and enjoy a movie tonight, to ask if you want to just close your eyes, breathe together for a moment, to take a pause, to come back to this present moment. It's a gift to give somebody, okay? All right, so let's jump in. Hi, everybody. Revolutionary Love, here we are again. I love, love, love this tribe here, and I love that you're sharing these live stream teachings. And I so appreciate all of your support, the way that you're sharing this information, the hands that you're grabbing, the ways that you're helping get this information out to people who really need it. And I love, 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 thank you so much, all of the input that you're giving me. I got probably 3 messages this week on topics that you guys would love to hear me talk about. So that makes me really happy. I don't think I know everything and know exactly what you guys need and want to hear. I know what my clients talk about all the time. I know when I'm doing speaking engagements what I hear all the time and what questions are out there all the time. Hi, Chris. But I am so appreciative when you guys take a moment and send me an email or a text or a private message on Facebook and say, you know what I'd love to hear more about, or you know what my friends and I are really struggling with, or you know what's still really confusing to me? This. And I had 3 people do that this week. And so I've got some things planned for January that, one, are great topics, really fun, and clearly will be really, really important information to get out there, because you guys are saying, we're talking about this, we're confused about this, we're kind of struggling around this, so it'll be fun. So please, my door is always open. Please get a hold of me and let me know what is important to you to hear more about. Please let me know if you have a group, an organization, a company that you would like to set me up with for 2018 to do a speaking engagement, to do a workshop, to do one-on-one coaching with somebody. Please let me know, and I'll see. I can't say yes to everything, but I sure can promise you that I will absolutely consider it and look and see if it would be the best use of my time, and if there's something that we could work out. Okay. All right. Okay, so deep breath. Today's topic. Is it possible? Can you master? Can we even get our heads around the possibility of being both soft, we're going to talk about whatever that means, and strong, whatever that means. So right now, I'd love for you guys to be a little more interactive right now, and I know we have a little bit of a lag time. Give me a heart or a thumbs up or something. This stirred up a lot of conversation on Facebook a couple of weeks ago, and one of you saying, please do a live stream on this so we can talk more about it. For all of you who are here live right now, can you imagine it? Can you even get your head around it? Do you believe that it's possible to move through your world as somebody who accesses both softness and strength. Can you give me a thumbs up or a heart or something? Because otherwise I'm going to assume that maybe what you're saying is, no, I can't even get my head around that. It's not something that I do, and it's not something that I think is possible. Or I just simply need more information. Anybody? This was a really, okay, got a thumbs up on that. This was a really challenging one for me. And I'll go into that in a minute, a little bit about my story really quick around this. But I want to start here. I said we were going to answer these 4 questions. Do you lead with one naturally? Because I find that most of us do. My story about what I naturally led with and why, and certainly the big downside to that. We're going to talk about, can you begin to actually see the beauty, because I believe there is great beauty in being able to start to try to, if not balance both, maybe balance both, I would say more access both. Really be able to access both, be aware of what you're using, what you're leading with, and to be very intentional about it. And last, that we're going to talk about what specifically does healthy, that's a key word, we're going to underline that, healthy soft behaviors and healthy strong behaviors really look like. Like specifically, we're going to talk about that because that's one of the things that I know you all have said that you count on from me here. These teachings are not fluff. I'm not here to say something like, okay, make sure that you balance being soft and strong in your world. Go have fun. Bye. I'm here to help you dig deeper into what these things mean and go deeper with my teaching so that when you get off of these videos, what I deeply want is that you say to yourself, that was so incredibly helpful to me. I want to pass that on to somebody else because I think somebody else could use this information. I want these teachings to really be helpful to you. So we're going to talk about specifics on that too. So let me ask you first then, and this is where, again, you get your journal, get your pen. If you're here, one of my tribe who are working these things like homework, every one of these videos, this is where you grab your journal right now, okay? So whether you do it right now or you write this down and you work on this later tonight or during the week, here's the first question then that we all sit with. Do you lead with one naturally? So ask yourself that, or if you're just on here right now, think about that. Do I naturally move through my world? Do I naturally move through my days leading with softness? Do I naturally move through my days or through my world leading with a form of strength, kind of as a strong behavior? So that's the first thing to look at. Write that down in your journal, go back to it later, maybe sit in quiet meditation, do some of the breathing we did at the beginning of this video, and just ask yourself, and there's no right or wrong answer. Don't try to come up with a particular answer, and if you're not sure, think about the person closest to you, a spouse, a best friend, somebody, and think, how would they answer that for you? What would they say they see in you? And then the next question, when you answer that is, why do you think that is? Okay, this isn't therapy. I just want you to remain really curious around, how do I naturally lead? And why do I think that is? How does that serve me? Because, what do you know? We don't do anything that doesn't serve us, right? We don't even do painful, dumb things without it serving us in some way. That's just a truth. So we want to look and go, if I lead with this, why do I? And how does that serve me? Just being curious, not hard on yourself. How does that serve you? There's something that helps you with, either to lead with being soft, to always start there, or to lead with strength, to always start there. What is it that you get out of that? It's fascinating to ask these questions of ourselves. So let me tell you a quick story around me and my experience with being soft and strong. If you get my newsletter, which I hope you do, and if you don't, please today go to my website, revolutionarylove.com, and sign up for it. Then you'll get kept up on all these things, and you'll get some more tips and tools weekly. in my newsletter, I was talking about last week about my experience of naturally through all the way through, gosh, at least through my 30s, really naturally leading with strength. And the reason for that was very clear. I was taught that. It wasn't just my personality, although I think it is. I was taught that by a father who would line us up literally. I know this sounds pretty crazy, but he was pretty unstable. Who would line us up, my brothers and I up, and offer us this mantra and keep having us practice saying, there is no such word as can't. There is no such word as can't. And then as we would move through our days, no matter what was going on, if he would ask us to do something or try something or help with something, even if it was absolutely crazy that we knew that we couldn't do this, we were only 8 or we were only 3 or we were only 10 or whatever it was, out of his instability, he would shout at us, there is no such word as can't. God damn it, do it now. And I got to tell you, it was pretty astounding. I'm laughing because all I can do is laugh now about this. It was pretty astounding what we could do, what we could pull off, what we could accomplish when it felt like there was no other answer, there was no other outcome. And so it is pretty incredible, the inner strength, the inner resilience that we can access. And I was taught that. And in some ways, I have to tell you, I watched him move through the world in that way. And I was proud of him. I liked it. I liked watching strength. It felt good to me. It felt solid to me. And so that was how I moved through my world. I also had that punctuated with a mom who was, as you've all heard here, an extreme, lovely lady. Oh my God, loving, loving woman, extremely codependent. And so when I watched her tolerate things, put up with things, show up in a way that right now maybe we're talking about being soft, what I saw was weakness. That's all I could see as a child was I saw my dad. I heard him shout at us, there's no such word as can't, over and over. And I was told that you need to be strong in this world. But I watched my mother also do things that seemed so intolerable to me that I labeled those as weakness. So you can see what happened to me, right? I didn't have any understanding of what real softness meant or real strength meant. I didn't have a good understanding. Certainly what I was watching was not strength from my father. I was watching aggression. I was watching bulliness. I was not watching strength when I didn't know it. And I wasn't watching softness, genuine softness from my mom. I was watching weakness. I was watching fear. And so coming out of that childhood, I led with what I perceived, what I called strength, always. And that was, you will not break me kind of strength. It looked like stubbornness. It looked like stick-with-itness, which could be good, but I didn't know when to stop. It looked like all these things. So that's my story. That's where if I was writing in my journal with you right now, I'd be writing, I have always led naturally with strength. And then the answer to my question, why, where'd it come from? I could tell you exactly where it came from with my father modeling that and my mother modeling weakness. What are you writing down right now? And so it's a curious thing. So the next question then becomes, okay, so then if you lead with one naturally and you know why, because it served you in some way, my leading with strength served as walls of protection. That's absolutely what it was for me. One, I was taught it, but two, it helped me feel that I could be strong and protected out in the world. I certainly didn't want to, this was my story, I didn't want to look like my weak mother. Okay, I watched her be walked all over, tolerate horrible things. So that was my story, and that's how it served me. This strength served me thinking that I was then protected. So what's your answer to that question? How has leading with softness served you? How has leading with strength served you? And now, the third thing we said we were going to talk about is, can you imagine then? Can you get your head around, and always talking mindset, right? Can you change your mindset from this is the way that I always need to move through the world to, wow, would it be possible for me to balance using softness and strength in anything that I do, in all interactions, in everything that I'm engaging in at work? Can I imagine using it at work? That's a place where a lot of people have a hard time imagining using both. Can you imagine at work, in meetings, with your boss, with your colleagues, when you're trying to get, goals met, when you're trying to do whatever you're trying to do at work, can you imagine, can you get your head around the possibility of having both tools in your tool belt? Accessing softness or accessing strength? In your love relationships, that's another hard one. Can you imagine, can you get your head around? That's the question on the table right now. Give me a thumbs up or a heart if you're kind of struggling with this, or if you're saying, yeah, I can see it. Can you get your head around? Can you change your thinking, your mindset around believing that it would be a positive thing, a beautiful thing, to be able to start to access both softness and strength using both those tools? Can you? Somebody give me a heart or a thumbs up if you can begin to imagine that, and imagine yourself not just using your go-to one. So if you can imagine it, and if you can see the benefit in it, can you see that? If you can see the benefit, then let's go to the last thing that we're going to talk about here today, which is the most important. What specifically does healthy, keyword healthy, write this in your journal. So I want you to take some notes on this so you can look at them later. What specifically does healthy softness and healthy strength actually look like? What do those behaviors actually look like? So let's talk about softness first. What I used to believe was that softness equaled weakness. And I hear that from so many people. So I must not have been the only one. In relationship and at work. And I hear this so much from women. Women who, again, I said this last week, I don't use this word with women, but I hear it all the time. Women who tell me, I just need to be bitchy. I show up, I need to be strong, so I show up, these are their words, bitchy. I'm a control freak. This is how I get things done. If you listen to my live stream last week, if you haven't, you need to, about, the downside of this controlling behavior, bossy behavior, parenting another partner behavior. Women especially can fall into this thought that I can't be soft in any way, especially at work. I need to show up, and I don't care if people call me bitchy. I don't care if they call me a control freak. Hey guys, it's not serving you. So let's talk again specifically about when we talk about softness. What are we talking about in terms of healthy behavior? You guys, we're talking about gentleness. Gentleness is a beautiful, beautiful thing. We're talking about kindness. Kindness comes from a very soft place. we're talking about, when we access softness, we're talking about being open-minded. To be able to be open-minded, you have to access a soft, gentler place in you, not a rigid place that thinks you know everything. You have to access softness to be able to then be open-minded and tell yourself, maybe I don't know. Maybe there's another way to do this. Maybe I haven't thought of everything. That's accessing softness, correct? Would you agree? Give me a thumbs up. Hi, Kate. So when we're talking about specific, healthy, soft behaviors that don't just fall under this negative category of, oh, that means I'm weak. We're talking about gentleness. We're talking about kindness. We're talking about being open-minded. We're talking about being loving, coming from a place of being loving. Loving without condition. We're talking about being willing to listen, to access a soft place in ourself that quiets ourselves so we can listen deeply to ourselves, so that we can listen to our own intuition, and so that we can offer the gift of listening to others. That requires accessing softness, does it not? That's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about softness. Yeah, hearts on that. If you in any way, like I used to, have locked in that softness equals weakness, that means that some part of you has believed that being softer and all of those beautiful qualities I just listed, gentle, open-minded, kind, loving, that you're saying that you think all of those qualities then are going to equal not being safe. Because if you're saying that's weak, you're saying it equals in your mind some way of not being safe. Oh my God, now think about that, what you're saying. What an insight. Take notes on that in your journal if that's an insight that you just had. If you kept thinking that softness equaled weakness, look at what you're saying. You're saying that you think that it actually equals you not feeling safe, which means you're using strength to put up walls of protection. Wow! What an insight! And that's the insight I had, when I was in my 30s then and landed my Budinsky in therapy and, started having all these wake-up calls. Let's talk about strength. Healthy, strong behavior, okay? Well, we know that it's not aggression. It's not mean-spiritedness. It's not what I talked about last week. Strength is not being controlling. Strength is not being bossy. Strength is not leading the show. Strength is not intimidating someone. Strength is not overpowering people. That's not healthy, strong behaviors. I think we all know that. So what is strength, though? Healthy behaviors that show real strength? Resilience. Oh my gosh, what a strength that is. Having resilience. I didn't even understand that word really until my 40s. Resilience, determination. That is something positive I got out of my wacky father shouting at us constantly, there's no such word as can't. What I did get out of that and held on to now at my age from that craziness was determination. Putting my mind to something. Focus. Focus is a great sign of strength. To be able to focus, to be able to be determined, to be able to access resilience. What else on our list? To be what a lot of you said on Facebook, firmness, especially when I'm talking a lot about being able to set boundaries. We have to feel strong and come from a place of strength to be able to set boundaries with other. Okay, to set boundaries doesn't mean that we act like an ass. It's not being aggressive. To set healthy boundaries with good, solid, healthy strength means we have to be firm, direct, matter of fact, clear. All of these are a sign of healthy strength, don't you think? Would you agree? You guys, maybe you can add on to something. Let me put my glasses on here really quick and see if any of you, hi Angie, hi Maureen, are adding in. Would you add anything to the list of healthy soft behaviors and healthy strong behaviors? Sarah says, I love how you demonstrate the ability to take life experiences and turn them into healthy personality traits. Thank you, Sarah. And that's what I want all of us to be able to do here. Thank you for mentioning that. Damn it, we just all have our stories and the stuff that's happened and all that. And they're important. Our stories are important. But to sit in our story and relive these stories and not learn from them and not access the beauty that we can pull out of our stories or our pain or whatever it is we've gone through, and have that build our inner strength and resilience and have us figure out, okay, you know what? Here's the piece, like I just said, here's a piece that helped me. Damn, did that craziness with my dad help me learn to be very determined and have an unbreakable spirit. That is a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. And every one of you can look at what you've been through and access now, all right, let me look at softness and what I used to think it was and what it can really be for me now, and strength and what I thought it was and what it could really be for me now, okay? So those are some of the healthy lists. Before I wind it up, I think it's really important to say, here's the process that we need to go through, I believe, to be able to start to access both softness and strength and use them both. The first thing that I believe that we need to do is to feel all of our emotions and feelings. Here I go again harping on this, right, everybody? To be able, so stay with me here. To be able to access both using softness, gentleness, kindness, loving unconditionally, being open-minded, listening to ourselves and our intuition, and strength, directness, firmness, determination, resilience, an unbreakable spirit. To be able to access both and use both, we have to first be willing to feel all of our emotions and feelings in any given moment. What does that have to do with what I'm talking about right now? When we don't access and allow ourselves to feel all of our emotions and feelings, that means we have to what? If we're not willing to feel them, what are we doing? I can hear all of you. I love it. I can hear all of you thinking, talking. Right. We have to shove it aside in some way, right? We have to take those feelings or whatever's coming up for us, and if we're not going to feel them or access them, we have to sweep them under the rug. We have to stuff them down. We have to shove them over to the side. We have to go into avoidance techniques. We have to minimize them. We have to downplay them. On and on and on and on and on. Those are the things we have to do. Right, exactly, Sarah. We have to bury them. Well, okay, so again, stay with me. I'm leading us somewhere important here. So if that's what we do, and we're not going to access our feelings and our emotions in the moment, and we do any one of those things, then what happens? Okay, well, we can't allow the feeling and the emotion to inform us. We can't listen to our intuition. We can't listen to what that feeling and that emotion is trying to tell us. So if it's not going to inform our next steps, if it's not going to inform our next conversation, the words that are going to come out of our mouth, the next behavior that we choose, if it's not going to inform that, then we have to just grab for something habitual, right? You see where I'm going? And what are we going to grab for that's habitual? What I just had you work on. You're either going to grab for softness. Oh, this is where I downplay and I get really quiet and I sit here and I don't say anything and I just let everybody talk over me and I'm going to stuff what's going on. Or we access strength and we start being controlling. We start saying, no, bullshit, this is the way it's going to be, blah, 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 blah. And we start pounding somebody and we go into aggressive behavior. Do you see what I just explained here? If you want to be able to access both and see the beauty in both and be able to be at choice with using softness and strength, we start by making a pinky swear that we will feel our emotions and feelings in the moment, allow them to inform what's going on for us, and then have us make a choice. Wow, do I move more into gentleness right here with this person? Do I move more into being more open-minded right now and accessing softer listening skills and really being present? Or, oh, wow, do I really need to listen to myself right now, see that I need to show up with strength and resilience and speak up with determination and set a boundary and say no and do it clearly and swiftly? Wow! That's what I want for all of you. That's what I finally have for myself. The ability to access both softness and strength in the moment. That's what I want. I want that for you too. I want you to help explain this to others. I want you to pass this video on to others, so that they can start to understand the benefit of love without condition, being vulnerable and unbreakable, holding deep compassion and setting boundaries. Because what you just heard me say that I'm going to end on here is that our greatest softness and strength is our ability to be vulnerable. It feels initially so scary to be vulnerable, and we tell ourselves stories about how if we're vulnerable, we're weak. If we're vulnerable, we're unsafe. If we're vulnerable, we're all these things. But the truth is, and this is not just a nice saying, our strength lies in our vulnerability. Our strength lies in our vulnerability. Brené Brown's work on this is so important. And any of you that have ever dug deep and been willing to be really vulnerable in the moment, to be transparent, to tell our deepest truth to somebody, to stand up and be really vulnerable and say what we need to say, to stake a claim and speak our truth and be... Sorry, we had a little blip there. I want to close with this quote from Kurt Vonnegut. I just love this one. Let's do this again before we close. Hand on heart chakra, okay? Deep breath. Let's just feel it. And Sarah, thank you. She just said, I've found lately that asking for help is a strength. Amen to asking for help as a strength. Okay. Either close your eyes and take this in, or just, you can watch me say this. This is just so beautiful. Be soft. Do not let the world make you hard. Do not let pain make you hate. Do not let bitterness steal your sweetness. Take pride that even though the rest of the world may disagree, you still believe it to be a beautiful place. I believe that with my whole heart, and any of you who know me know that about me. I don't care what I've been through in my life. I know all of you have been through all kinds of things in your lives. I know that our world is in some chaos and there's really big challenges out there right now. And I absolutely know with all of my heart and my soul and my whole being that this world is a beautiful place. This present moment is an amazing place to be right here, right now. Please, all day long today, and at any way you can remember this for the rest of this month and as we move into the new year, take a deep breath and keep coming back to this present moment. Stay out of the past, stop worrying about the future, and come back into this present moment. Access your strength and your softness, and remind yourself that right here, right now, all is well in my world, and I am safe, and I am okay. Grab a hand. Help others. Help lift them up. Do anything you can to be of service to others as you're raising your own levels of emotional maturity. I'm here if you need anything. If you know that working together as we move into this new year is your next step, please don't wait. Let's get you booked for 8 weeks or 6 months or a year. Let's just do it. Let's have this be a whole different year for yourself of healing and waking up. Peace and blessings to all of you. I love you all.